It was February 4th, 2008. I had gotten a call from my gynecological nurse, and she said that the biopsy results had come in and the doctor wanted to see me right away. So, I think I pretty much started crying right away. I was at work, however. They called me while I was in the middle of the day at work, so I went and calmed down a little bit, went to the bathroom, and then went and talked to my boss, who is very sweet, kind, and understanding. And we worked out my schedule so I could leave a little bit early so I could get across town. And I remember sitting there in the doctor's office, not the exam room. I got right to the office. They call you and they tell you to rush out there because they need to see you immediately. And then I waited for an hour in the waiting room. I waited another 30 minutes when I actually got to the doctor's office, knowing that it was not good news and your stomach's in knots and you have all kinds of horrible things going through your head, and they just kind of leave you sit there. And I thought that really was crappy. So he finally came in, and he dropped some papers on his desk, and he said, "It's cancer." Just like that. It's cancer. And it was, the presentation of it was, not very warm or kind. But just the words, make your blood turn cold. And right away I'm having visions of dying. So I tried to gather myself and listen to what he was trying to tell me, and listen to the details about it so I can get educated about what was happening to my body. I remember sitting in this big leather chair, and there was a really pretty aquarium there on my left, and I remember trying to concentrate really hard on his words, what he was saying, and all these emotions just bubbling up like exploding bubbles inside of me. And I lasted maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then I just bursted out into hysterical crying. And I cried for a few minutes and finally took some deep breaths and got back to a place where I could listen to what he was saying. And what he was saying was good. I mean, for cancer, it was good. It was endometrial carcinoma, stage 1A. Basically, it was a baby cancer in my uterus. And he said of all the cancers that you could ever want to have, that this was the best one because it was easy to fix. All I needed to do is have a hysterectomy, and I would be fine. And maybe I would need some hormone therapy or something, minor kind of things compared to chemo or radiation. He said I just needed the surgery. But I needed to make a decision because I was only 32 years old at the time. I was not married and had not had any children. So to the doctor, who was a guy in his probably late 40s, me having a hysterectomy was kind of no big deal. But to me, it was a bigger deal and had some things to consider about it. The ability to never have children was huge. And he realized that, I think, after he talked a little while, and I could have told him actually right then and there what I wanted to do. But he said, go home and I want you to think about it for a few days and come back on Monday. And I am very blessed and very thankful to have 5 nieces and nephews and 2 sisters. So between them, I already felt like I had children. When my youngest sister had her first child, which was 5 years ago now, I had the very great honor of being able to spend a lot of time with the baby because Sally was going to school. So I got to play mommy, so to speak, for a while, and that filled the hole, the mother hole inside of me. So I felt like I had that motherly experience, and that gave me the strength and the wisdom to know what was right for me was to go ahead with the hysterectomy. That seemed like the only right choice to me. Both of my sisters and even my mom at the time offered to be surrogate mothers for me one day in the future if I ever wanted to be, have a child to raise, all on my own instead of borrowing my nieces and nephews. And that made me feel very comforted and very secure in my choice to go ahead with the hysterectomy. So we went back and scheduled the hysterectomy for 20 days later and went ahead with that. I think the worst part of the day that I found out was having to tell my mom. I lived in South Florida then, and my mom lived in Memphis, which is pretty far away. So I had to go out to the car after sitting there talking to the doctor and finding out I had cancer and was going to need a major surgery, but really I was okay. And I had to somehow call my mother on the telephone and try to comfort her and explain to her that I was going to be okay. That's hard to do from, 1,000 miles away. But my mom is an incredibly strong, kind-hearted, warm, positive energy person. So when I called her, she couldn't have been more sweet or more encouraging or more supportive. And that's exactly what I needed from her. Somehow Mom always is what I need her to be, and I'm beyond grateful for that and for her. What cancer brought to my life has been a lot of really wonderful things. It started off by getting me to eat healthier and encouraged me to really continue with my exercise. I fell in love with Kathy Friedrich workouts way back in 2002, I think it was, or maybe even longer, and have been a proud Cathlete since then, and really love the community of Kathy Friedrich. So I had the exercise thing pretty much down pat, but what I really needed to clean up was my eating, and getting cancer was kind of a wake-up call to that. Because really, honestly, I felt guilty. Sitting in that chair, listening to the doctor tell me I had cancer. I mean, mine was a hormonally based and hormonally fed cancer. I felt guilty because I felt like because I was overweight that I gave myself cancer, which of course isn't true. I mean, it does increase my risk factor, but it doesn't give me cancer. And it's taken me a long time to work through those thoughts and those feelings. But there are so many ways that cancer gets into your body now. All the environmental things, all the products that we use, from shampoo to sunscreen to toothpaste to everything. And I've really educated and empowered myself and my family and the people around us to learn about these things and to raise awareness of that so they can protect themselves and their families. And hopefully I don't have a third recurrence because of all the things that I've been doing. So that's my first cancer story, and I will make a second cancer story very soon. The second cancer story, I'll give you a little jump ahead, is what really inspired me to start a blog about my cancer journey as a survivor. And my website is called Cancer as My Catalyst, because cancer truly has been a catalyst to so many great things in my life, my health, and my career, and my family, everything. And I know it sounds totally crazy if you're watching this and today is the day you found out, or it's yesterday, or it was last week. But there's hope. There is hope, and there is healing ahead of you. And I hope that you embrace that, and I hope that I can help you in some way along your path of light and healing and recovery.